All right, Podofgeauxld, welcome back. I'm Brett. I'm here with Mike Grant, the intern, at an undisclosed location. A big episode, Mike. There is so much to talk about, a lot to cover, jam-packed. There's no time to waste.
Yeah, is this a big one?
I don't know. Not really. I just wanted to kind of amp it up. We got a lot to talk about. Patrick Reed, Manti Te'o, and then a bunch of LSU stuff.
Manti Te'o's fake girlfriend that turned out to be a woman, in fact.
Well, maybe. Are we sure?
Yeah, Leo Tua. Who knows?
I can't call it. Hold on.
No, a lot's happened in a week.
I'm not going to go hit the button. It's been a long week. DeColdest Crawford. I know that's old news at this point, but I think
we need to rehash.
Circle back. Hit us up on Twitter at Podofgeauxld, podofgeauxld@gmail.com, at Gold Mike. No one noticed that I changed my name getting into the studio, and now it says Grant the FSU fan for me. But I'm Brett.
Wow.
Yeah, hit me up at Gold Mike or at Podofgeauxld. Patreon.com/gold. On YouTube, guys, check us out on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Do all that bullshit. I'm not going to beg for it. Where do you want to start?
I'd love to start. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
I like your shirt.
It's Tupac.
Where'd you cop that one?
Don't worry about
it. Yeah, we can't talk about that.
I told it on the last episode. It was like the hip hop. There was some type of like hip hop situation going on at the African American Museum out in Washington D.C. So they had a ton of cool rappers and all kind of gear and merch, and your boy snatched up some Tupac. With that being said, I think we need to discuss DeColdest Crawford.
It happened like as we were finishing up the pod. It started going minorly viral on Twitter, and it was just so heartbreaking because I watched this thing no less than 100 times that night, and it's just the funniest video. I think Grant's actually going to pull it up here, and I
Dude,
know
when you
everyone's
tweeted it, I feel like I was for one pissed that we had just finished recording, and it was like, dude, this could have been an entire segment on DeColdest Crawford, because like literally, just like you, I sat there after I saw it and I watched it over and over, and like every time I rewatched it, something else made me laugh about it.
It's the spirit of
Start to
NIL.
finish.
Like, it's literally what I want NIL to do, and I understand that, like, not everyone has a name that fits perfectly, but it's just, like, on brand marketing. It's not a, "Hey, we're looking to hand out some money to somebody. Let's just do this." Like, the company thought about it and put a marketing strategy together, and, like, it's so good. It's, like,
No, but
why
it's
I
like
love
it's
college
like
football.
Dijon Mustard now,
Right.
like out of Texas, the running back. He's got a mustard deal. It's pretty wild, but like that's the same thing here. You know, these guys have these unique names, and it's kind of just a cheap money grab. Like, let's go get it. That's what the NIL's for. It's crazy.
I
Yeah,
love
let's
it.
see it.
Yeah, I just wanna enjoy it again. I'm gonna sit back and listen.
We called SOS. RAC is
Also,
the
sup.
coldest.
Oh yeah.
I'm always the coldest.
I don't see any video.
Hey, this is DeColdest Crawford, wide receiver from Louisiana, now playing in Lincoln. When your AC isn't
Oh,
called
wow.
SOS Heating and Cooling. Their takes don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, pricing, and longer warranties than the competition guaranteed. Take it from the coldest. We will keep you cool this summer.
But I mean, he's locked in. He understands that there's not even a commission on the line for these guys. Like, he is out there just trying to make sure that everyone has the proper heating and cooling, like
Who
going into
was he
whatever
to the
season.
woman though? Like, why was he in the kitchen?
Well,
Who is
let's.
that?
I mean,
And why was
some
she milking a baby?
We called
I mean,
SOS.
it's just like, is he part? Is that his wife? Is that his family?
but
Like,
we're all
he
in
just,
agreement that Grant's the only one that can see the video, right?
yeah, no, the video doesn't play.
Okay.
You can't see it?
No,
No.
but it sounds funny. Like, we hear
No,
the sound.
you did your job. Hey, look, this is an audio form. This is an audio medium. So anyone who's in the live chat right now, obviously we appreciate you. Shout out to the few people on Twitch. You got to get like 50 followers on Twitch before you can do subscriptions and all that. So follow us on Twitch if you have one. I don't know. Where were we going? I lost
We
it.
were
I was
talking about
trying.
the coldest. We were talking about
Yeah.
the coldest, but I think, you know, it was one of those videos where people got a lot of traction. We've been following this kid since he was like a freshman in high school. So like this, we've been waiting for the DeColdest Crawford video of some sort, and it absolutely delivered.
Yeah, it was better than you could ever have imagined. Like, he was just so happy. Like, just the smile on his face when the camera turns to him. I'm just like, it made me so happy. Like, I wish there was a way we could like pay to have someone get like a heating and AC check by SOS. Like, I
I
would like
was
to.
I was going to beg Bright Media to make sure that we could get some type of deal with SOS.
BlueWire?
What did I say? Bright Media?
Yeah.
That was our old team.
Yeah, we
Blue
fired
Wire.
them.
Yeah. Well, maybe Bright could get it. But no,
Maybe.
Blue Wire to set us up with SOS. I feel like if we played that commercial to intro our podcast every week, we'd probably triple our numbers.
Yeah, I would like to do it for free right now. If you have any heating and AC cooling needs, they don't get a commission. They're just in it for you guys. So find my guys over at SOS Heating and Cooling in Lincoln, Nebraska.
In other news, Manti Te'o is receiving a lot of apologies right now. And
Deservedly so.
absolutely. The funniest part, and I mean, there's so much to cover here with this documentary. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it's about a week old now. Everyone's
a must
probably
watch.
seen it, but you have to check it out. It's bizarre. Like, just for people like my wife enjoyed it. It was one of those deals where it's so crazy and bizarre. Anybody that doesn't know anything about football to someone that grew up watching Manti Te'o, like, you're going to love this documentary. What a beast, by the way.
Manti,
Te'o,
yeah.
Forget that kid, dude. We forget how much of a beast he was. But I mean, the real not winner, but the person that really took over this show was the assailant, the fake girlfriend /
The catfisher.
cousin / catfisher / praise and worship leader from the island.
Naya.
Naya?
Yeah, I think so. It's truly an incredible documentary. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I started making a notes app very early in this because I knew it was gonna be an absolute banger and we were gonna talk about it, because it started off when they introduced Naya, the cat Fisher,
Yeah, Lanaya.
Lanaya. She's like, "Hey, yeah, I was the quarterback for the football team." And they immediately cut away and show this dude getting sacked, and it was just hilarious. Like, we couldn't find a better video. I knew it was gonna be an absolute banger when it opened up with the sack, and it delivered 1,000%. It was one of the funniest, like, entertaining, awesome, good. I felt terrible for Manti Te'o. Like, the media absolutely screwed him over. Don Lemon just being like, "I think
He
he's
must
gay."
be. It's like, and then I remember running with that. I remember like being in college and just being like, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's probably gay. It's just because like everyone was saying that. But where did that come from?
And he was behind the whole hoax. Like,
I mean,
did
dude,
it.
SNL. I definitely was in the camp that like he was possibly in on it. The Dr. Phil segment brought back memories. Dude, I specifically remember watching that Dr. Phil episode live whenever it was like, I can't do the voice. Like, well, why don't you go behind this like paper screen? And then they did it. And I remember just crying, laughing like at the moment because of how funny it was. And it was just as funny like 10 years later. But like what a world. Like, can you imagine CNN talking about like a linebacker being gay? Like, it just is so weird that some of that stuff was happening. Saturday Night Live.
I love how like she freaks out that he played the voicemails. It's like, what did you think he wasn't going to try to like defend himself here?
That hurt. It's like, oh, did it? Oh, did it?
Like, bro, don't play the voicemails though. Like, they're going to catch me now. It's like,
what,
well, no
dude?
shit.
Who was it? Was it Katie Couric or like Matt Lauer? Was just like, you gotta ask, you gay?
He just not at least tried to think about it though. He's just like, no, man, I sleep with a lot of women.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I am absolutely positive I'm not gay.
Far from it.
Far from it.
Ask one girl.
Yeah, like, dude, and that's the part I feel bad for. It's like he had to pretend to be cool, like irrationally, like for no reason. He had to pretend to like be this slut that goes around like screwing everybody at Notre Dame. But meanwhile, he's like, no, I'm just like this hard-nosed, like religious guy that just wants to talk to this chick because I probably will never meet her.
It was and I kind of remember thinking, like, obviously he didn't play well in the Alabama game and then didn't have like that great NFL career to start. And I kind of remember being like, see, I knew it. Notre Dame, like they don't play anybody. And then like looking back on it now, it's like this dude was so mentally fucked that it's like, how could you have played football? Like, how could you have been the alpha athlete like out there?
You're just like, oh, we're playing Bama, and like I just opened my phone and it's like, you know, you're seeing that pic and it's just like, what is that? Like, what is life? Like, who are these people?
It's just funny, like looking back on it with like a different lens of like more of an adult and everything. And it's just, it feels so bad for the guy. Obviously he's doing fine. His wife's hot. You know,
well, just such a natural athlete that like he was going to find a way to be a professional at some point, you know. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, good for him. I mean, beautiful family.
Well, how about being 18 years old in Hawaii? Like, I'm going to go to USC. I'm going to be the next linebacker. Oh, the fucking janitor said I should like pave my own path. I'm going to go to Indiana. Like, mind blowing.
Bizarre. That's another bizarre.
Like, he's like crying, signing his letter of intent because he has like no desire to go. Like, it's unbelievable. There's just no way in hell. Like, I wouldn't have gone to USC.
But dude, how quickly has like the world changed though? Where like a kid is never gonna like last a freaking semester of homesickness and without being like, yeah, I'm transferring. Like, I can't take.
Well, like portal. You can't say that kid that decommitted this week or last week didn't watch that show and was like, yeah, I can't go from Florida to South Bend. Like, you can't tell me that didn't play somewhat of a factor.
I tweeted that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It has to. It has to.
It's like Brian Kelly come to LSU, Mike. It's a culture shock.
Yeah, dude. I'm hearing more and more people be like, Brian Kelly, like the fit shit is starting to get talked about again. I'm just like, we're 2 weeks away from kickoff. Can y'all find like something else to like complain about Brian Kelly than just this fit?
Which like we did it. Congratulations to us. Football's back.
2
Like
weeks
week
away.
zero is kind of bullshit, but like it's football season.
We've got some games this week.
It is, and we also took a deep dive. Was it last night? Night before. We had a fun little deep dive where we watched the 07 Sugar Bowl, Notre Dame versus LSU, pretty much play by play. The most entertaining part was definitely the intro, but it was just the broadcast. Like going back in that time, it's just 07. You don't really think of 07 as that long ago, but you go back and watch that broadcast, you're like, holy cow, man. We're talking about metrosexuals getting their nails done. That was wild.
Jimmy Johnson absolutely crushes with Tim Brown on the pregame show. I was fully like, I was trying to put the kid to sleep, and Mike's like, I'm going to watch a game. And I just kind of threw the Notre Dame game out there because I was like, this will be a fun game to watch. And he was like, oh, that's it. That's what I'm going to watch. So I was like, okay, I'll catch up to you. Like I'll fast forward once I'm done and everything. And I just ended up watching the entire 45-minute pregame show. It was absolutely electric. Like Terry Bradshaw talking to Brady Quinn about like his not winning the Heisman and like how bad it crushed his soul. And it was just pure gold.
Well, the jazz ensemble in the French Quarter, like to just open it up with the two
It looked
guys.
like it was from the 70s.
Yeah, it looked so old. I'm like, I was in high school during this. Like, that's crazy. But like the little nod at the end, we got to get a clip of that. I mean, that's a GIF right there. Like the guy in the balcony bar looking down at the dude at the corner after they just go off for like 10 minutes and they just stop and like nod at each other. It's like, all right, time for football.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't happen anymore.
But then it led into an hour-long like pregame show. It wasn't like we're even about to play.
That dude really wanted to load the entire vibe. He's like, look, I'm going to record this, put it on YouTube. You guys act like you're back in time. And that's exactly what it did. It satisfies that.
Also, it was fun to see a little bit of a spry Les Miles.
Cock of the walk, dude. Like he was strutting around with no forethought that this could end badly one day for me if I don't like figure it out. But I'm just gonna ride this shit out. I'm gonna be this like fake disciplinarian, just kind of pick on people if they're out of line, and then I'm just gonna be a fan. And he was just an ultimate fan, just like, holy cow, early Doucette's amazing. Like he was just in awe of his talent that he walked into.
But in like perfect Les fashion, it's like what, September, or no, it's a little later. Okay, but it's a bowl game, December. He's in the stadium doing an interview in a full suit. Like when was the last time they're doing like the coach interview and the dude's just in a full suit, like sitting in the bleachers, like chatting it up with the chick. Like Les was just
class act.
And like I texted in the group me, it was fun to watch a Bo Pelini defense that actually was like good.
The defense was so fun to watch. It's like, I can't wait to get on defense because we're going to hit some people. We're going to be fast. And Notre Dame, we just made look silly. Like they couldn't compete with our speed. And it's funny, like that was one of the first couple seasons where they're like, oh, the speed is just so much different at LSU and the SEC. And like now that's just commonplace. But like that was the early days of, no, that's the difference with all the conferences is the speed. You don't have Ohio State just as fast as you. I mean, it was pretty wild to see the difference in just, I guess that's a long time ago. I mean, shit, a lot of time's flown by.
I know. Another thing that kind of jumped out that I think we got a good laugh about is that like some of the balls Jamarcus ripped.
Dude.
Like we get
like
a little excited. We get a little excited, a little antsy when Nussmeier like kind of rips one in there towards a pylon, and we're like, oh my God, what a throw. The TV resolution wasn't even good enough to like keep track of some of these balls Jamarcus was ripping in there. The touchdown in the end zone too, was it
Dwayne Bowe?
Dwayne Bowe. It looked like the fastest ball that's ever been thrown in the history of mankind.
It just reminded me of being like in 4th grade and watching the 6th graders play dodgeball, and you're just like, "Pooh, there's no way I can get out of the way of that." Like that's what it looked like. It just was like the ball wasn't. You couldn't even see the ball in his hand. It was like he was like whipping around a tennis ball, just nailing.
Maybe it's like Little Giants where it's thrown so hard it like gets stuck to the kid. It's like that's how it felt. Like Dwayne Bowe didn't catch that ball. The ball caught Dwayne Bowe.
Oh, definitely. It was wild to watch, but definitely like it validates how great he really was, and that team really was. Like going back and watching that, you're just like, yeah, like this team definitely could have been competing for a national championship.
It also felt good to just be reminded of all the LSU cliches because you had Herman Johnson, you had the Jamarcus Russell can throw it
Jacob
off
Hester.
a knee, Jacob
Lunch
Hester's
pail
white
guy.
lunch pail, yeah, like Patriots are gonna sign him yesterday. Like it was just, and because you have the Fox crew that I don't think were doing like a ton of games outside of bowls and stuff. You got Howie and Terry. When was the last time they did a game? And so, like, all they did was just hit you over the head with all like the cliches that we've been making fun of for a decade. It was just like bombarded. It was great. I loved it. It was such an enjoyable watch.
Let's talk a little bit about the
Emery?
practices lately. Yeah, so I think the biggest news that has come out of camp in this past week has been that John Emery, once again, is still dealing with this academic issue, and for right now has to sit out 2 games. You can see the nice graphic here created by the intern. John Emery suspended the first 2 games of the season. This is still, like you've heard, is a carryover from last season. This is not new issues. So for people that are quick to jump on Brian Kelly and say, well, why isn't he managing, John Emery? That's horseshit. Like this guy has been dealing with this for a very long time. For whatever reason, it's not over. And when we all thought it was. So it also puts a little twist on that whole John Emery isn't as good as Noah Cain or Armani Goodwin, and he's running third string. That had to do with them preparing for this situation going south.
Goodwin, good runs, I need to correct
Goodwin,
you
good
there.
runs. Absolutely. Every time we say Armani Goodwin, we're going to say Goodwin, good runs.
Good runs.
And if we say good runs, it's Goodwin, because we feel like as a group, as a unit, that Armani Goodwin, good runs will have plenty of good runs. Goodwin this season.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not from the food.
Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not those type of runs. But with all that being said, he's appealing this 2-game situation. I don't know how the hell last season wasn't enough, unless some people have tossed out the idea that it's got to be like 15 consecutive games. And obviously we didn't make it that far. It's like, but why? What does that have to do with it? He passed the class. What are we doing?
That'll show him NCAA. Like that'll do it. Like make this dude do everything right and then still penalize him. Awesome.
It's crazy.
That's how we do it.
Absolutely wild.
Great job, boys.
But no, it's cool to see that the other 2 guys are stepping up.
Look, we're going to talk more about Florida State at some point in the next week and a half, a lot more. I don't think John Emery is like the X factor in a Florida State game. I think LSU is gonna be just way more talented than Florida State, and they'll be able to go in there and get a victory. It'll be nice to get some of these guys some action. Noah Cain looks like an absolute animal. Excited to see him running. Student athletes.
Do you think that Gordon was just like, oh, so Cain's running with the ones? Sign him up. Like he had this new deal like last week. Yeah.
Pick him up. Yeah, he's got a direct line to Frank. Like, who's it going to be? And then I don't even know who you have week 2. Northwestern State of the Valley in Turkish Airlines. We don't need John Emery there. Yeah.
Southern.
It's Southern. Yeah,
dude, it's
exactly.
the biggest game of the year.
Shit.
It's way bigger than Alabama. I don't know if you've heard.
The most ticket sales like in the history of 2022.
No, Verge said that. They didn't say that. Verge said that. Let's just make that very clear. The same guy whose 2 sons are playing at rival schools. Let's just put it out there.
You know what I found interesting about this Emery thing too? I'm gonna just throw this in there. Is LSU has not confirmed it.
What are you talking about?
Well, they've never confirmed it.
Didn't Brian Kelly like mention some act that has to do with something?
Exactly, but he couldn't talk about it. So nothing's technically confirmed by the university. I listened to some people talking about it.
If we're going to
it's only some tweets. It was only some tweets. LSU never denied it, but they never confirmed what the actual suspension is. This was just Brody Miller's tweet.
So wait, so you're saying Brody Miller is the only person that has any information on the 2 games?
Yeah, he ran with it first, and LSU never denied it, including Brian Kelly.
You want to just try to make some headlines and say that like Brody's wrong and John Emery's not suspended? You want to do that?
I mean, no, if you're on the Manti Te'o documentary, like those guys would do it. This could be Deadspin.
That's what
I know.
Dude, also, like, fuck the Deadspin guy for being like, we gave him all the time that we could.
He didn't answer.
And they're like 37 minutes later, we hit book. Like, dude, fuck off. Like, I get, like, I don't like you do what you got to do. You got to post a story, but don't like sit there on your high horse. Like, I mean, they just didn't want to comment. It's like, dude, they could have been at lunch.
Yeah, absolutely. They were. I think they were.
But anyway, yeah, look, man, I think Emery, I hope that it's true that Emery's done everything right and has done a great job in the classroom and all that bullshit to get back on the field this season. If that happens to be week 3, I think that's bullshit. I think it sucks, but like in the grand scheme of things, I think that's okay for LSU.
Dude, so I was going back and, you know, this is the time of year where you really dive into crazy videos, right? Like not only 07
Heading
Sugar Bowls, but like you're looking at every player on the roster's highlight
sacrifices.
video.
Oh yeah,
you know, all that good stuff, sacrifices.
yeah.
But I was trying to like get a clip that I could piece together Armani Goodwin's highlights from high school because I just got sucked into them.
Good runs.
Good runs, Goodwin. And I was going to put him out there on Twitter and be like, breaking LSU lands 5-star running back. And like people would watch this like clip and be like, holy shit, this dude is insane. Then it'd be like, that's Armani Goodwin.
He committed a couple years ago.
Yeah, like he's going to be a dog. Like, so don't forget, like we've got these guys on the roster that are just waiting to break out as well. And I think Kane is one of those guys getting comfortable. I think Goodwin's going to surprise the hell out of people. I know that doesn't really count now. They're 2 weeks away and everyone's saying that, but I agree. I think Goodwin's going to be a dog.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but for me, it just feels like I'm more thinking about the offensive line. Like I think the running backs go as the offensive line goes this year. If the offensive line is as everyone's saying, and it's like, oh man, they're like actually really impressive and kind of holding their own against this nasty D line, then I think we're going to be able to run the ball really well with all 3 of these guys. If the O line is kind of a little splotchy, maybe giving some up, then that's when it worries me. Like, I don't know if any of these guys are going to be that amazing to overcome like really poor O-line play.
I don't know if we're going to have really poor O-line play. I know that the snaps have been a big topic. That was obviously the most animated or vocal Brian Kelly has been in a practice, was reported that he was getting all over Dellinger. I swear to God, if the media does not get on the same page with another name, they're going Dellinger and Dellinger.
Well, they asked him, and he said Dellinger.
Yeah, Brian Kelly needs he is the one struggling with the names. You have Cody Dickerson, multiple times,
right?
Which that's just funny. Like that's just dudes. That's just dudes being dudes.
But like Brian Kelly. You know, I love him. He's the one screwing these names up.
I get it, but I'm saying like, I've heard Dellinger and Dellinger screwed up for like multiple, like since his freshman season now. And Goodwin and Godwin have been tossed around a lot.
Contraford.
That's me.
That was
all me.
That was big.
That was all me. I own that.
Dowdy. I mean,
that's you.
Did you listen to the baseball press conference today? I'm just kidding. Don't answer.
It's not baseball season.
I did.
We're literally like 13 days from football. I don't care.
Dude, Jay Johnson's been like in all the scrimmages.
I'm gonna mute him
in the ring.
Yeah. No. Let's go back to this.
Oh no.
There we go.
All right. There we go. You're welcome.
Garrett Dellinger. He's adjusting to a new position. We all know that, but there's a reason they really want him on the field. They obviously think he's in that top 5. Everybody else that's been rotated has been, Miles Frazier, Karen Wire, Bradford. Like there's that right side kind of rotating. Dellinger's kind of the slow and steady right there at center. He had snap issues, and I think Brian Kelly was using that as a mode of coaching to demand perfection and say, this is the standard moving forward. If you guys are going to botch snaps, like we'll be here all damn day.
Yeah.
And this has to happen. If we do not get this corrected, there is no offense to run. And this is the perfect time of the season to get this shit nipped in the bud right now and not wait until third quarter and we realize that, hey, Dellinger can't actually snap. And, our backup hasn't been getting any of these reps. Like we have a coaching staff that's figuring that out right now. So I think the O-line is going to be okay. They have the potential to be pretty good, but right now it's just potential.
Yeah. I mean, it just gives me pause and it makes me worry when and we can talk about the same thing with corners when you just look around and you see a lot of guys that are just in from the transfer portal at smaller schools, and it's like it seems great now that this dude's locking up Kayshawn Booty, and but it's like this dude was also playing at McNeese last year. It's like I hope he's awesome, but like don't shoot me for kind of holding back and just waiting to see it actually happen against some good teams.
You talking about the DBs?
Yeah, well, just I mean the offensive line
They,
too. When you have
yeah,
Frazier, like I'm just saying, there's a lot of unknowns at some spots,
Dickerson?
and I think it's going to be good. Yeah, Dickerson.
Richardson,
Yeah, Dickerson.
Colby, or
Dickerson.
Cody Dickerson.
No, we have a lot to prove. Each of these position groups, it's going to take time to prove it as well. But I think we have the right guys in shuffle there. I do kind of prefer the first O-line rotation that they were messing with Frazier at guard and Bradford at tackle. I listened to Moscona recently. He likes it the other way around. He
Friend
likes
of the program.
Yeah, he likes Bradford interior, which I agree, but I don't really prefer Wire out there and kicking Frazier to the bench. I think
Right.
Frazier is probably the better athlete there, and I would rather find a way to get him in. Obviously, I'm sitting here behind a keyboard, so who gives a shit? It's all going to be like Brad Davis's decision. Obviously, he would know better. But I think they wanted to give those chances to Cam Wire to show his worth on the outside. He also mentioned basically 8 to 9 total guys on that
Kind of
offensive
fighting for
line.
spots.
And that will be in that final rotation. And it's kind of the main 5 that we've been talking about: Will Campbell, Tremont Shorts, Dellinger, Bradford, Frazier. You got Cam Wire in the rotation there. He even talked about Emery Jones. True freshman from Catholic, really turning heads right now. Who else did he mention there? Might have been Fitzgerald West, Charles Turner. I think he discussed.
Was it Doomerville? Or no?
Doomerville is another one. So there's really like 7, maybe 8 guys, 9 at the most, that would rotate with those 5. So 3 extras that are fighting for positions. That's good that they've narrowed that down. I am happy to see that. Really impressive that we have those 2 freshmen, one of them starting at left tackle and the other one, Emery Jones, coming in and competing already as a freshman on the interior. You get that kid, you get Zalance Hurd coming over from Neville next season. You got Adams coming out of, is it Carr or St. Aug?
I think it's St. Aug.
Yeah. You got
100%.
that kid coming in. Guys, I mean, like, that's a loaded Louisiana offensive line.
You still have Cardell Thomas somewheres out there.
Yeah, dude, Cardell, Big Pancake, is now a Hooter.
Big wing, big breasts.
He's a breast guy. There he is. Hooter signs LSU offensive linemen to NIL deals. Listen, man, I couldn't be more happy for Big Pancake Cardell Thomas. The kid loves the NIL deals. None better than a wing shop.
I need to get back on his phone screen protector one, or the one he was doing from his phone when he had the most cracked phone in the history of, because that was that was an all-time tweet. It might have been. But yeah, good for the offensive line. It's nice to see the big boys get some wings.
So winners get wings. Let's talk a little bit about these skill position players, because if you really go back, not only watching the videos, but listening to everyone that was at practice, and I'm talking about practice from the end of last week, where they really got after it, not only in a scrimmage portion, but they did a full-blown like one-on-one where they had a defensive back, a wide receiver, and a quarterback, and they were just running routes one-on-one, just like you see in a lot of camp circuits from back on like 7-on-7 days. They'd break away and just do the one-on-ones. Full pads, good to go, getting aggressive, getting into it. The wide receivers completely dominated the defensive backs. And they said it wasn't even close. That scares me a little bit. I know we have really good wide receivers, but apparently it was so uneven. Like Mason Taylor was out there making R1s at DB look stupid.
A guy mentioned again by Brian Kelly that will have an immediate impact. Like we're talking week 1.
Yeah, and listen, I get it's one-on-ones, and obviously it's going to be a little bit of a benefit for a quarterback and a wide receiver to be on the same page and really get it in there. That's good to see, though, that the quarterback and those wide receivers have so much feel that in the one-on-ones, they are absolutely dominating our defensive backs. Little scary on the DB side. We want to see some of those guys step up and make some plays. I know Mekhi Gardner had a decent pass breakup. But other than that, I really didn't hear or see anything about anybody else. Maybe Major Burns kind of making some plays here or there. But that's
it's a concern. It's definitely
Yeah.
something we're gonna have to wait and see. I mean, Mississippi State's a team that no one's really talking about that is probably going to test your DBs, is probably going to throw it a million
Will
times. If I
Rogers.
had to guess, if we had to go off historical data, they're probably going to throw the ball a ton of times. Tennessee's going to have a good group that they're going to walk into Baton Rouge with.
They're talking the Tennessee quarterback up for the Heisman, which is
Alabama's
wild.
got nasty receivers. Like LSU, I truly believe LSU is the best wide receivers room in the country, but like we're also going to go up against a good wide receivers room. I'm just gonna wait and see. I hope these guys are awesome. Like I hope we have 2 first-round draft picks that were just like, oh shit, we lucked out in the transfer portal. Look at what we got, but who the hell knows? But as like the irrational fan, the way to talk yourself into that is just to say our defensive line's so good that they're gonna make the DBs look better.
I think our DBs are going to be fine. I think
do
we have
too.
to. I think they are all so very talented. I think
Confidence level in saying that is just low.
Yeah, but I think it's going to come with all of this competition. They're just going to keep improving. I don't think anyone's going to regress because the second one of those kids regresses, their spot is done, and the whole point of them transferring here is over. So I really feel like, Seven Banks, Bernard Converse, Mekhi Gardner, and Colby Richardson. Like those are your top outside guys, and you got 4 of them. You got them competing against one another, and I do believe that them getting dominated last week just made them better, right? It's, hey, we have to come back stronger. We got to fix this. We got to be more physical. And you've got those 4 guys back and forth competing against one another. To prove that, you're going to have at least one of them come out shining from all that practice and wear and tear and competition. I think they're going to end up shining. Rodarius Jones, not one that's going to be shining.
Processed. He's out. Which one, offensive line or corner/secondary? Which one would you be like more confident in saying like you're confident they'll exceed expectations and like be not a detriment? Okay. It's more bullish on the O-line.
I'm more bullish on the O-line just because, one, I trust Brad Davis a little more than Steeples just yet. I think Steeples at DB and Cooks at DB coach, I think they have a little bit to prove. We don't know much about them. We're very optimistic, though. But I think Brad Davis has been really working on this O-line for over a season now and has been waiting to kind of be that, hey, I don't have any ties to anybody. Best player is going to play. So I think Brad Davis has a little more cohesion with that starting 5. I don't know. The couple transfers that we got on the O-line, we immediately have them playing, and they're not really being questioned. But at the same time, the defensive backfield is kind of the same way. Bunch of transfers in there. They're not even being questioned that are starting immediately. I don't know.
It's the cohesion, like you said. It's,
it looks better on the O-line, right?
On paper, the DBs look really good. They look better than the O-linemen. And then you see that they all came from a different school. Like none of them have played here before. Makes it difficult.
Miss Corey Raymond, or does he miss? Good point, Grant. I agree. I mean, that's true. That's why I would go with the O-line. Do we miss Corey Raymond, or does he
it's easy to not miss him yet. If our DBs start getting toasted and shit week 3, then I'll probably miss Corey Raymond a little bit more than I do now.
I probably won't miss Corey until like there's 2 solid seasons of Steeples sucking.
Yeah, like if Steeples just is like the worst, and it's like every player looks like Carnell Hatcher over there, like out of position, like looking around.
Then
like,
I'll give you.
Well, we didn't even talk about Matt House's press conference the other day. I mean, he
not much to talk about.
Well, I'm saying like he seemed ultra positive, which I guess you would expect, but like he had a lot of praise for a lot of guys.
I think, look, man, I think this offense is going to impress people. I think that's may get a little national buzz about like, oh my God, these receivers like Jaden Daniels is an X factor. I am so excited to watch this defense. Like, I think it's going to be a fun defense to watch with an attacking front, with defensive line guys just trying to bully people. I feel like I'm more excited to watch the defense week 1 against Florida State than I am the offense. Like, I'm just confident that the offense is gonna be able to move the ball and score points.
I think we're going to be prepared, and I think we're going to have an offense that's organized enough where the playmakers are going to have their opportunities to make the plays. And at the end of the day, you can't blame anybody else at that point. Like I really feel like we're not going to be left scratching our heads of like, man, if we just would have done this, like I don't think we're going to be in that boat. It's either going to be that team was just better than us, or that's it. Because at the end of the day, I think we have great coaching. And it looks like that offense is taking to that coaching. They're demanding the basics, just like snapping the football, picking up pass coverage, beating the DBs on one-on-ones, making the right reads, being on time with your receivers. It seems like that type of practice has been instilled, that we expect perfection here with those basics. So I think week 1, when you come out, you're not going to see all kind of bullshit penalties. You're not going to see drops. You're not like, I feel like I expect us to be organized and do what we should do. We're going to be able to get that done.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna be very disappointed if look, I just am very confident LSU is gonna beat Florida State. I think Florida State's the eighth best team that LSU is going to play all season. So they better be able to go in and win that game. I'm going to be massively disappointed if LSU gets a win by a touchdown or so and has a lot of those mistakes, a lot of those procedural penalties that have been like the Les Miles, the Ed Orgeron kind of like, well, of course we can't. We're calling timeouts out of timeouts. Like that's the shit that I'm just going to be like extremely disappointed if we see.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's one of those expectations with this type of coach, a guy that comes in and just speaks so clearly about his mission. You don't expect to come out week 1 and not know how to snap the football.
Yeah, and it's like I don't wanna see 13 guys on defense and then trying to run off the field or like, "Oh, what package are we in? Oh, run on the you run on, you run on." Like, that's the type of shit that I believe that Brian Kelly's gonna come in and have, like, eradicated almost immediately.
So that's kind of the big mystery, though. And we brought his name up and we talked about him for a brief second. Is Matt House, the defensive coordinator. We don't really know much about him. And for the first time at LSU, we're really not like dependent with our fingers crossed, like, God, I hope this DC works out because that's our team.
Right.
Like if we don't have Dave Aranda, then we're fucked.
Or it feels like we're gonna be able to score with people.
Yeah, like you got to have that stud DC because we're not going to pull it off on the other end. And we don't have a head coach that can step in and do it himself. So this DC better hit. We're not in that position right now because Brian Kelly is such a head coach that the Matt House deal has kind of been overlooked. It's like, we'll wait and see, but we're going to have a pretty good offense. So it doesn't really matter. There's some dudes on the D line. We're fine. I think this is kind of getting glossed over, that this guy potentially could be a big time asset to this team when it comes to his experience in the NFL, working with guys like Tyrann Mathieu. He worked with a lot of those linebackers and DBs at the Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Putting together a really good defense with a lot of speed. So I'm anxious to see how quick that takes and if it takes at all. I'm optimistic about it, but I'm not one of those people that's going like all in and saying that this defense is going to be great due to Matt House.
I agree. I just think this defense is very talented, and this guy has shown at Kentucky that he kind of at least knows what he's doing. But I agree with you. It's a little bit of an unknown. Like I can dog myself into any coordinator hire. I like Matt House because of some of the things that Tyrann Mathieu said about how he's like so focused on preparation and like breaking down film of the other team and knowing what they're going to do before they even snap the ball.
Yeah.
And to just like think about that type of defense with the athletes that LSU can put out there, it's just one of those like, oh, like 2011. Like guys are just going to fly around and have fun. Like that's kind of like in my brain how I can talk myself into it. It's like, oh, well, Ali Gay's unblockable. Mason Smith has to have a double team. This person, you know, it's like I can start talking myself into Harold Perkins isn't a flying around just like destroying people like Craig Lawson. Like I can just talk myself into a defense that Matt House has brought that like all these dudes are just flying around like playing fast, knowing what they're supposed to do.
You know, and this brings up a different topic that I think is something we haven't talked enough about. Really, anybody is that this is a very unique set of kids on this football team because of their situation with.
Yeah.
They all came to LSU as freshmen on the heels of a national championship. They came in thinking that they were joining the next Clemson run, the next Bama run. And then it was just a flop. It was 2 years of unorganization, of just chaos, anarchy, and COVID. Like it was shit. But these cats that are still on the roster believed enough in this new system that I have to think that like there hasn't been a coaching staff that came in to this type of talent that's just been open arms, like, hey, teach us something, you know,
Right.
like fucking figure it out for us because we need to go to the NFL and we're dependent on you to fix this program that we thought we were signing up for. Like that type of impression that these coaches are going to make is very valuable. So if you hire the right guys, if Matt House is the right guy, you've got Mason Smith, BJ Ojolari, Ali Gay, Roy across the board thinking, dude, figure it out for me because this is money year and we could be
Right.
the best. Like they all believe it. They're just waiting for that coaching and they stuck around. They stayed put. They didn't sit out. They didn't transfer. They said, no, we want to do it because we believe in this new system and we're going to accept whatever coaching they provide. So if they provide quality coaching, dude, the sky's the limit for this crew.
Well, and like, look, some of it may be unproven, but some of it is proven. Brian Kelly's put together a really good staff. I mean, this staff rivals top staffs in the country. Like, and they're paid like it. But you have guys like Jamar Kane and Brad Davis, and you know, like respected guys at their position. Cortez Hankton won a national championship
Yeah.
less than a few months ago. It's like as long as the players are receptive, as long as the players have bought in, you could see this thing going well.
Well, and it was built on a couple of those true freshmen that got playing time on the back half of the season when everyone else didn't give a shit anymore. And all of a sudden, you're just like, hey, keep Besh and Neighbors on the field because those dudes give a shit. Like
Yeah.
they want to keep playing. They want to perform at the highest level. You don't have them like hanging their head on the sideline being like, well, I got my tape on film. Like I'm
Right.
done. You know, it's like, no, they want to keep performing. And I think when you bring in this new staff, this new culture, those guys that stuck around and performed like that during like the dog days, they're going to set such a good example and a precedent for all those young guys on this roster. The point of all that is it may not take as long as people think. That like there's an advantage here with this group because they're eager, they want it, and they're very talented. They don't just have one or the other. They have it all there. We don't have the depth, but I do think that it's coming. We're recruiting very good right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've said it before. I'll say it again. I expect Brian Kelly to be in the playoff here in the next few years. Not this year.
I think so. I think week one's a huge game, a huge statement game to show basically the organization, like we just talked about. Let's see a difference. Week one, let's just see. Let's turn on the television and say, that's a different team. I can already start seeing it when you start looking at the names that are starting. Like, not starting Baskerville right now, even though he's like the senior leader, Butkus watch list, all that good stuff. It's like, guys, it's a new era. It's a new staff. It's a new team. It doesn't matter. The best players are going to play, and we're going to put you in the right position. You got the first guy off the bench at linebacker, Harold Perkins. Dude apparently is going to be a star.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be first guy off the bench for very long.
Right.
But yeah, you know, there's really not really anyone you could say Booty, who is a first team preseason AP All-American, but like
it?
Booty. Booty.
Yeah, booty.
Booty.
That was the best.
It was so good.
Like, why have you not been telling us this?
No,
Why did you wait till now?
He just wanted Booty Call to become famous. But like, there's not a single person outside of probably him that like, and Mason Smith, I would say that like super earned, like have a spot just etched in concrete, etched in stone. Everybody else,
Yeah,
it's like,
BJ,
man, your
man.
spot's up for grabs. Yeah, I mean, Ali Gay, like we could hand pick up 3 or 4 guys, but for the most part, no one's proven themselves, and there's a lot of transfers that have come in that want to play for LSU.
No
It's
doubt.
exciting.
It's a competitive situation. There's competition everywhere, and there's competition still at quarterback. I do think it's Jaden Daniels, and I think that'll probably be announced tomorrow,
I do
if not
too.
by the end of the week. Because I feel like you're starting to see everybody kind of roll it out. All the quarterback competitions, everyone's starting to kind of leak it, all over Twitter. Gus Malzahn named our boy John Rice Plumlee. Dude, at UCF.
A massive tickler. Like, I'll blindly bet them week 1 and assume he's going to have like 230 rushing yards.
Yeah. No, I think this is probably the week though that Jaden Daniels gets the nod.
Reported first by Podofgeauxld, Jaden Daniels will be named the LSU starting quarterback
either tomorrow or sometime this week.
It really any time now.
Yeah, anytime from this point. But I was interested to see that he did mention they're both going to get playing time this season. Nuss he didn't say Nuss, but either one of them could potentially take over at any time. It's going to be one of those situations, but you have to name somebody and you got to get that going now. So I'm anxious to see that. And like we've just talked about, all signs pretty much point to Jaden Daniels getting that. And I think that's explosive. It's exciting. I think
just thinking about being in the Superdome for it. Like I'm very excited.
I can't wait to see this kid run on turf, dude. He's going to be flying. I know that's like an old term, like they all run on turf, but it's just, there's something about watching the dome. There's something about the Superdome in general. We talked about that in the group meet, that it doesn't matter the occasion. There's just something about walking into that dome and seeing a college team down there. It's beautiful.
A band in the Superdome is wild because it's so
loud. Yeah, it just feels like it's going to be an important game if you're playing like a non-professional game in a dome. It just has an extra feel to it.
In that dome.
That dome.
Elephant in the room, according to Father Matthew.
Yeah.
Special teams. I know we don't spend a lot of time on special teams, but it's starting to be like, who's that guy going to be?
Ramos. Apparently it's a tough call right now. They're all taking snaps. They're all kicking evenly, which is not good. You kind of want a dude that's kind of taken over at this point. We don't have that, but listen, you read between the tea leaves and you dive deep into Instagram. Ramos looks like the guy.
That's crazy.
When the other players start throwing around pictures of one kicker, that's probably your kicker.
And Bramblett is the punter, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Bramblett.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be just as excited and surprised as you guys when he marches out there for that first extra point after Jaden Daniels takes it to the house.
We've been spoiled at place kicker, by the way. Like I don't think Ramos is going to be able to live up to Chris dude, the fake. What, dude, was that one of Miles's first fake field goals?
I feel like he was faking it like left and right during 05, 06, 07.
Analytics Twitter would have gone fucking ballistic if in 2022 LSU ran an option with the quarterback holder
with
and
the backup kicker. The backup kicker, because then
your
boy kicked the rest of the game.
Analytics Twitter would lose their mind. It's just watching shit like that just made me realize that we did have good times with Wes. It got bad.
We did.
It got abusive. It got bad. Okay, like
dude, he should have been gone well before it got to this point.
There were some black eyes that may have accidentally been falling down the stairs, but damn, did we have some good times?
Looking back, like there were so many cardiac games
Did Les
many.
Miles take a dump in my bed? Yes, but like
Yeah.
we also had a good time.
We did have a good time, dude. And we watched some very talented teams. And then eventually it was just like, God, dude, we're just not getting back to those days. This is not working out. Arizona State fake punt from their own 20. Thank you.
Dude, yeah, well, Grant asked if that was the first one, so he responded with it. But like
I'm
also
not reading the chat. My bad, guys.
no, Grant, okay, no, don't worry about it. I got to circle back to this Notre Dame game a little bit because Charlie Weiss's fupa is just something.
Oh,
It's
and
just
he's
something.
such a mob boss too, dude. He's strutting around.
And like they're talking about how he has this like untouchable contract, and it's like, well, he's gonna be here for life no matter what. And then like what, like months later, it's Brian Kelly's job. So that definitely made me happy.
Who did he walk into the game with? Bon Jovi?
Yeah, it was just like he was chatting up Bon Jovi, and it's just like what a duo. Like what an unbelievable duo.
Before dapping was big.
God, there was something else I had thought of, and then I just blanked on it.
I killed you with the Bon Jovi.
Yeah, the Bon Jovi like threw it through me in a tire loop.
That's fine. Kayshawn Booty named to AP preseason All-American. I mean, who could have called that?
I can't call it.
Who couldn't have called that?
Who could not have. Yeah, I don't know. The only other thing I can think of is like our boy Patrick Reed.
That's the only other thing we got, boys.
I would love to read it.
I can't read that from here. Do you want me to read this?
No. Let's do a little role play of me being the lawyer and you being Patrick Reed. And I'd be like, so we get in the room and it's like, so Patrick, we aggregated a bunch of stuff about what people have said about you. Just wanted to run it by you real quick before we put in this lawsuit. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now on the tee, the excavator. You suck. You fucking suck. You jackass. You coward. Shovel. Why don't you go dig a grave and bury yourself in it? You piece of shit. No one likes you. Everyone hates you, Reed. Good luck digging yourself out of this one. Where are your parents, you coward? You cheater. Cheat. Everything. Everyone hates you. You cheater. You're going to miss this, you cheater. You cheated in college. You cheated on tour, you piece of shit. Sorry, Webb. Sorry, beat the cheater's ass. Sorry, Webb, for having to play with the cheat. Who did you piss off? Oh, why don't you introduce your children to your grandparents, you ungrateful bitch? So, Patrick, does that pretty much sum it up?
This is just a sampling of what I had to deal with.
Just imagining someone having to like run through that and like read that off to Patrick's face, or Patrick being like, I have a notes app of all the mean things. Like either one is hysterical.
He got to like towards the end and the lawyer was like, is that it? He's like, actually, there's one more. It's
beat the cheater's ass.
Webb Simpson.
That changes it. That changes things, Patrick.
Just an incredible. I spent like I kind of saw it buzzing around on Twitter early in the morning, and I was like, I'm just gonna file through this lawsuit real quick. And it's one of the funniest reads you can imagine. Like absolute stray shots at Brandel. It's like Brandel, who didn't have near the success that Patrick did in his playing career, and then it just goes on to roast Brandel for another like 3 sentences. Also, it had like a full page of like why Patrick Reed is awesome. It's so funny. Like it's worth the 30 minutes or whatever it would take to read the whole thing.
Let's not forget that he's asking for $750 million.
Yeah, $750 million for people being mean to him. It's all time Patrick Reed. I love Patrick Reed because I hate Patrick Reed.
Did we come to any type of resolution with the all players meeting? And what was Ricky Fowler doing there?
I mean, I think pretty much Ricky Fowler was like, yeah, I kind of suck now, so I'm going to go to the Live Tour. And like Tiger and everyone was like, dude, the PGA is giving you so much money, you're not fucking us over. And Ricky was like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll get on the jet with you.
I'll get on the jet with you, which Tiger drove when they got out the jet, which is like an all-time, like, guys, let's not have the cat behind the wheel. Like, Ricky, take it over, my dude.
It's funny because it's like the media's first time seeing him driving, even though he's been driving forever again. Yeah. No, Tiger.
Yeah.
Your
Seriously.
leg.
Like, don't do it, man. Like, why? How is there not a car there waiting to pick up Tiger Woods? I
You know,
don't
they were at
understand.
that meeting too, and they were like, "Tiger, you want a drink?" Oh,
Are you gonna argue with him though? Like, dude, you know how many people are probably like, "No, man, I'm driving you," and he's like, "Give me the fucking
Give me
keys."
the fucking
Like,
keys.
what
I
are you gonna
drive
do?
only
Like,
Buicks.
no, Tiger, get in the passenger seat.
I mean, like, dude, how many fucking Vicodin you had tonight, my dude? If it's under 3, then sure, go for it.
Yeah, he'll tell you.
No, what I assume is just that Tiger and them just like they're just gonna bully the PGA into having these bullshit like super money events that like once again like doesn't really do it for the fans, but no one cares about the fans in this situation. It's all about players and money. So whatever.
Yeah, that's it, Patrick.
All right,
Emery.
over and out.
Wait,
Missed it.
you got week 0, guys.
Yeah.
Doing week 0.
No, we're just gonna enjoy. Do we know a ACC network? Okay, we can keep our eye on Florida State.
Yeah, there's no spread.
Fuck week 0, dude. Like this. Is so
Have you been
stupid.
able to find a line for that?
No.
Normally for those like games against teams that are Duquesne or however you say it, like FCS type teams, if you get a line,
The Kinsney.
it's gonna come out like game day, maybe Friday.
No, we'll
Week
get
0
a nice
sucks. I don't
chance to
care.
see-
I'm
Yeah,
gonna try
I
to
mean,
play some golf this weekend. Really enjoy the elements before just doing nothing on Saturdays ever again.
Before we get into this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I think we're gonna have a week 1 podcast though, so
Oh yeah.
maybe
if
2
you're
next
in,
week,
Grant, if you're
maybe
in, bro.
2 this week, maybe 2 next week. I don't know.
Who knows? We'll see. We'll keep the options open. Keep the door open. We got to figure out what we're doing the day after the game because I'll be flying back home. Might have to record Tuesday.
Might have to have an airport review.
What time's your flight?
Monday,
Yeah.
1.
Okay.
I'll be home. I mean, I'll probably make it back. Yeah, we probably couldn't do it all together.
You'll be home if we
No,
win.
we'll just
dude,
see each
we're
other
gonna-
at the game. We'll just all see each other at the game.
I'll bring my microphone into the stadium.
Yeah, that'll be. Will there be pisser stickers at the Superdome? We'll see.
I'll go digging around, see if I can find some.
I know.
I've
I
got a
don't have
handful.
any. I don't have.
I've got a
any.
handful, I think. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Well, Bingle Baritone. Look for them.
Bingle, do you want one? We'll ship it to you.
We'll
the
give
fuck? No,
Grant
we
a
won't.
few for the suite, and then we'll get the terrace level. We'll
Yeah.
take care of those bathrooms.
It's changed.
Literally,
I'm down
It's
to the 45-yard line.
line.
Boys
at the
Nice
game.
rides.
I want to be walking the halls looking for a hot dog and hear some pot of gold shouts. All right.
Should we wear our Podofgeauxld shirts?
I mean, I think I'm wearing this Burrow jersey right behind me.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna wear that Tiger shirt that I had. I'm gonna get some purple pants though, so be prepared. Your brother's in
Alright.
for a rude awakening.
We'll see. I don't even know if he's in. I need to message him.
He's probably listening to this like, wait, what? Am I going to the game?
Who? Nah, he's asleep. Yeah, that's all I got. I don't know, man. I had a fun time. We'll get together either later this week or again at the beginning of the week, and it's football time. Like, I'm excited.
It's here, guys. Every show, pretty much from here on out, it's going to be fucking breaking down games. Can you feel it?
Just crush. No, take that away. We already did that.
That was my bad. I'm just like slamming buttons right now. Guys, rate, review,
Yes.
share it, like all
Subscribe,
that good
for real.
shit. Subscribe.
Subscribe to the YouTube.
We've got
Once
all
we
these,
get to 1,000 subscribers,
yeah.
which we're
Everybody
very
that jumps
close.
in this chat, everybody that listens, like if you just hit up one of your boys, be like, hey, dude, check these guys out this season. We can triple, quadruple. We can
Let's
get our
hammer the
numbers up.
algorithm leading into the season. We need more people in here.
Appreciate you guys. Over and out.
All right. Over and out. See you guys
Over and
later.
out, guys. Somebody in the stream.
I appreciate it, everyone.
Over and out.
Over
Thanks,
and out.
guys. Over and out.